All right, in this video I'm going to show you how to measure and adjust ring end gap. And this particular application is a dirt bike, but this process would apply to just about any machine with piston and rings. So what is ring end gap? That is the tiny, teeny little space right between where the ring ends meet, right there, okay? So why is it important to do this? So as your engine is used, there's friction created, and that creates heat. When metals heat up, they expand. If this ring expands and there's not enough gap to account for that, the ends will touch and contact, and that will cause the ring to create damage on the cylinder. Okay, so basically it can cause excess engine wear, or in the worst case, engine failure. Okay, so it's important to do, especially important with applications with forged pistons, but honestly always important to at least check. Okay, now you may just get lucky, and if you keep putting pistons in there and get lucky and it's close enough, but it's good to check it because sometimes it does need to be adjusted. All right, so how do we go about making that measurement, and what measurement do you need? In general, so you know, check for your specific application, but this is a general equation here. So in general, you want 0.004 inches per inch of bore. Okay, so to give you an example, this is a 125cc dirt bike engine. This is roughly 2 inches of bore. So in this application, I'll take the 0.004 times 2 inches. That gives me a gap of 0.008 inches. So that's my gap, which turns out to be about 0.2 millimeters. Okay? So that's really important. How do we measure that on the application is with the feeler gauge, all right? So first thing is you got to get your ring in there, and you got to make sure your ring is square. I like to have the ring right up towards the top. That way I can basically see that it's the same distance down all the way around on the cylinder, and then that tells me it's square, or it's roughly even. If you want to double check, you can put the piston in there like that, and if you push it down slightly, it should go down. It should go down evenly and square up in the bore. Okay, and then once you've made your calculation to know what that should be. Now, again, this is a general equation. If you have a lot of aftermarket parts, you're running a little bit hotter, etc., that you may need a little more clearance than that. This is the bare minimum clearance that you want, okay? But you also don't want too much, because then you could end up losing some compression through that gap, okay? So you want it just about right, okay? So in this case, I'm looking for that 0.008 inches, also same as 0.2 millimeters. And I'm going to just take it and put it right in that gap there, okay? And I can see that it goes in there. It doesn't have a lot of free play, so I can see I'm actually pretty close. And honestly, I actually went up to 0.1 on the feeler gauge, and I could barely get that in there. So it's probably really close to 0.009, which is really about where I want, because, again, this is the bare minimum for that equation, okay? Now, we're all set to go here. Measurements all made in this case. But hypothetically, let's say this wasn't to measurement. I needed a little bit more gap. So then I would take my ring out of there gently, carefully. Remember, this is compressed to be able to fit into there, so you don't want to lose your ring across the shop. So just hold on tight, let it come out gently. So then you take a file, put that file in the vise, and then you can gently kind of rub up and down like that, okay? And you want to do that. I'm not going to do it because mine's just right, but if I had to, I would just rub that right up and down. Now, the important piece when you're doing this is to make sure that you're not creating any burrs. So you want to make sure that after you get it to where you want it to be, that you make sure you smooth out all of the edges, okay? And that's important because if any little burrs could end up marring up the inside of your cylinder, creating at least excess wear, if not potentially engine failure. So just be careful about that, okay? So that is the process of end gap measurement and adjustment. Thanks for checking this out. Please subscribe.